Thanks for staying with us. So there's been an online conversation back and forth recently about giving money to wealthy parents. Some believe that it's not necessary to give money to your parents, especially because, hey, they are rich, they don't need your money. In fact, some wealthy parents rather spend money on their children, even those who are working and can afford it. But others are saying that it doesn't really matter if your parents are wealthy or not. There is a divine blessing it brings to you when you give to your parents, when they know they're getting from you something. There's something that's intangible. There's an intangible blessing you can't even see that comes with that. What are your thoughts on this? This debate has been going back and forth because various people, some are saying that their own parents are wealthy, they don't need their money, and others are saying, in fact, I think somebody was even specifically saying that, using the example of Isaac and Esau, saying that even though his parents had money, he was still able to bless his father with what he has. What are your thoughts on this? Should we, especially those of us who have parents who are doing well, and even if you don't have parents doing so well, should we continue, especially with the current economy that we have, the hard times, the hardship around? Do you still think it is right for your parents to expect from you? And do you think it's right to you to give parents who already have the means, who have maybe a retirement plan and they're doing well, they have something coming, they have the basic stuff? Should you still give to your parents? That's our conversation this morning. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 09139076948. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweet. I remember this conversation at some point where somebody was saying that she's working. Yes, she has a decent job, and her family is still working, but her parents are fairly stable. So they're retirees, and they have something coming in from the government every month, and and they are comfortable, they are okay. But so her family understands that she cannot afford to be giving them what she was giving them while she was single. Now when she was single, she used to give something consistently. But now she's married, she has kids, she has responsibilities. Her parents must understand. What do you think? Do you think she should still continue to give, or do you think parents should understand that times are hard, we shouldn't expect things from our children anymore? That's the conversation. Want to start, Mariam?
Okay, let me start, because at first I thought the conversation was about having rich parents and giving them money would not bring any blessings. It's just like saying God is all, He's the creator of everything, and so when we go back to Him in offering and in tithe, doesn't mean anything. I do agree. The principle of giving is not about the currency, the money itself. It's just to show appreciation. Yes, it's harder to get things to impress someone who already has it all. But you're saying, you know what? I just want to show in some way that I appreciate you. What can we ever give? Even our parents that don't have anything, no matter how much you give them, how much can you give them for what they have done for you? Raising you, nurturing you, guiding you, everything. And then, I mean, it does not... For me, it doesn't make sense. You give because it's your own way of showing appreciation. We do that with friends. We do that with people we love. We're not talking of strangers. We're just talking of showing appreciation.
So I know, I know Daddy Freeze was on this topic too, and I like to maybe just use his comment as a context. He was saying that his mom is a professor, and we know her. She's wealthy. She, in fact, according to him, their last trip, she wanted to pay for maybe she paid for their tickets and stuff like that. So she was wealthy, and for him, why would he be giving her money? So are you saying that in that situation, we should also give our parents, even if they have more than enough? Some parents are even wealthier than their children. Yes. Should we still, the little you have, should you still give your parents? That's really the principle we're discussing.
It's a privilege to grow old and have your parents alive. Some people didn't even see theirs, as young as 3. So when you grow to 40 and your parents are alive, it means, well, as a Muslim, it means that you're lucky. You can earn paradise by serving them at their feet, at their comfort. So even if they are rich, so-called, like the example he gave, a child should be given at that age to them. So imagine that you wanted to pay for their ticket. He could have said, no, it is now my turn to care for you. Also, giving does not necessarily have to be in cash. There are several services that you do for your parents money cannot buy. And as a child, those are the things that you should be yearning for. Even if they are rich, there's also something called, I call it recycle the money. Because when you give them, they then give your kids. You know, my mom particularly loves to be generous with her. Sometimes when you give her, when you visit her and you give her cash, she'll put it in her pocket. And before you leave, all your children, you can take. I'm like, so man, if I knew you wanted to give the children the money, maybe I would put my money in my purse. But if the inability to give those children is what depresses her, so you don't want to see her in that state, bring that cash, give her, let her be raining the money on her grandkids. That's what she likes. And so service also is, sometimes you go there, you're in touch with them. For my parents, they just love to be talked to. So when my dad was alive, calling them was a lot of things. And one of the things I regret the most was that before my father passed, I wasn't available for those regular chats. And so now my mom, she's on, Nima, you cannot cut to the phone. Like yesterday, you say you call me back, you didn't call me back. And those little things go beyond what money can buy. So whether you're richer, they are richer, be available for your parents. These days, some of us are jetting out of the country. We are going even further and further. You used to be that you are in Lagos, your parents are in the village. Now they're even in the Lagos, and you are not even in the country. Some people are in countries, they can't see their parents in 4 or 5 years. And you know, so all you think about is whether you have money to give them. Some parents will shock you with contentment. There's no amount of money that you have, even the poor parents. There's no amount of money. They just want to remain in their small room in the family house, and they don't want anything but your constant call, caring for them, checking up on them, so that they too can say, I know, I have a father family in that child, a responsible child. So it's
for those who live abroad, for example, they're used to their parents being very independent. Like your mother is probably still working, still collecting paycheck. You know, so your parents are quite independent. So the idea of giving that your small $7 per hour or $10 per hour, when it's still mommy here, take this. It's kind of almost alien in the different cultures. Yeah. So for those who have that kind of exposure, do you think they should still consider giving their parents regardless, or parents should understand that, listen, we're now in Canada, I can't be giving you. Everybody has bills. Mommy has bills. I have bills. You know, like, because we also have viewers who are across the world. So it's important for us to even look at it in different ways. Why what do you say? I
think what happens in the Western world, from my own experience, from what I've seen when I travel and my friends who have children and grandchildren, their parents actually, the children pay the parents to look after their grandchildren. They pay them. If you want, you pay me per hour or per... I know at least 3 or 4 people like that are paid by their children to look after their grandchildren. But having said that, I remember when I was growing up, my father had a lot of money before they burnt his house. When they burnt his house, his finances changed. But before they burnt his house, he was rolling in money. And his mother was already a maid woman. And I know that because till today, she has property all over Abekuta. So she did not need money. Well, my father was looking after the car. He bought her the latest car because he could afford it. Yeah. She didn't need it, but he did it. He bought her the latest car. He hired her a driver. He got her a driver. So I think it depends on the individual, whatever you want to do for your no matter how rich your parent is, they will still appreciate anything you can do for them. It doesn't have to be money. It can be anything. But I think parents actually enjoy the attention of their children.
Yeah. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a few phone calls and get a few different angles from this. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to invite our caller. Good morning. Are you there?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good to have you.
Good morning, Auntie YK, Nima, and Miriam. Thank you.
Morning.
Welcome to the show, Toby. Go ahead, please.
Morning, right. Okay, so I was going to say something about, Mariah said for those that are like in the diaspora, you know, your £10 per hour and the rest of them. So how do you, you know, send something to your parents? And for me, I'm not sure that it is in the amount of money you send to your parents, but rather in the heart with which you send it. Sometimes, you know, when I consider the amount of money that I have, it may not make sense, but what I do is I reach out to people who have, you know, goods in Nigeria. I could reach out to somebody selling maybe roasted fish, smoked fish, pomo, you know, turkey, you know, people who cook food, people who can take, you know, food stuff to the house, pay those people and get them to go and deliver those things in the house. You know, so it is not about whether your parents are rich, you shouldn't give money to them or whatever. It is in the heart. And then the blessing is in your parents releasing words over you. Do you understand? You know, there's something they say about that when you take care of your parents, you know how they say, your father will say, "Omo rere ma gbe yin wo na." Do you understand? I said, in fact, there was a pastor that told me once that I should make sure that my mother prays for me every day. You know, just say a word of prayer over me. You know, give them, do things for them that will make them speak words, you know, of blessing over you. And that's the key thing here. It is not in sending them, you know, because they are rich, I won't give them money, or because they are poor, that's
that's what you do.
Thank you so much.
Sometimes you take a bag of rice to your parents, and they already have 20 bags.
They will share it for
But
neighbors.
that one bag that you take to them would mean the world to them compared to the 20 bags that they bought with their own money.
Yes.
So I think it's a
Thank you so much, Toby. You know, when I was working, my mother, you know, when I was working, giving her something was a no-brainer. When I got married and things got a bit, you know, in the beginning, she understood that, yes, you're struggling, you just had the family, and she didn't expect anything from me. Whenever I go there, say, Mara, I know you don't have, but if it's just recharge card, whatever, no matter how small it is, let me know that this 500 naira that came in, it was my daughter that sent it to me. No matter how small it is, don't forget, it's not, I don't need it, because my mother actually didn't need the money, but she had ways, she was getting her own money every month. But she said, no matter how small it is, give it. It's for your own good. It's not really for me, it's more of your own good. And that habit, no matter what, every month, was teaching me that no matter what, how small it is. So it's not the money all the time, it's just providing a need.
So just yesterday, I was listening to, you know, a class that I take online, and in that, they were talking about the prayers of the mother in the Quran. It goes, when it's unsolicited, you know, when you have a child and the child just pleases you just bless that child. Maybe in your generosity, you ask for a lifelong abundance or kind of a blessing on that child. Generations to come, that they will just be benefiting and they won't know why the world or their life is so easy. And they were comparing it to solicited prayer. So people in Islam is always advocated that, you know, the mother blesses the child. So some children, before they leave home in the morning, in some cultures in Asia, they say, touch my head, bless it. That's not the one, it's different. Just as Toby was saying, when they are deeply happy, relieved of a thing that you've just met, and they just like, you know no suffering. Or God will bless you.
I want to even take it away from parents, you know, because some people give me gifts at Christmas. So a lot of the things I don't eat or I don't need. It's just the thought that I always appreciate. Like when they give me these hampers. You know what is inside hamper?
The regular provision.
Milk, I don't drink milk. But I appreciate it. Because I will use that milk to bless another person.
Yes.
You know? So I think the art of gift giving is very important.
Yes.
It's very important.
And especially
so for me, I was just thinking that, you know, there was a time we were talking about parents that seemed that were entitled and were driving their children to stealing to provide for them. So, and if we have a culture it seemed like we're developing a culture where we're giving birth to children solely so that they could provide for their parents. And I remember there was a lot of conversation around that, and we, you know, mentioned that that is not right. But it's not the same. It's not to say that when you can and you want to, you should not, because your parents already have it. Recently, my mom in December celebrated her birthday. My brother had sent her money specifically to make birthday hair. Oh my God, she took video calls.
Everybody knows what they did.
The hair that she makes every time with her own money, but this one that her son.
Yes.
My sister sent her cake. I sent her a food tray. She was so excited. If you hear the excitement in her voice, I don't think I'd ever heard my mom that excited. She was just so excited. It was nothing. How much did it cost us? But, you know,
Okay, I want to flip that a second.
so those are little things that
I'm
people
from London. I want to stay on that for a minute. Larry, are you there from London?
Yeah, I'm
You're live. Go ahead, please. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. You know, what I want to say about this, my comment on this, we that live over... Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you. So what happens is that, our children, we teach them how to know the value of money. If they are living at home with us, okay, what we normally do, some of them earn even more than you. Maybe they earn 25 pounds an hour, 30 pounds an hour. And you, the parent, maybe you are earning maybe 12 pounds an hour, 13 pounds an hour. And they live at home with you. They eat your food, the electricity, gas, everything is more expensive now. By asking them to contribute a little to the household, I don't think it's something that is too bad for them to do. And some of them, they do it gladly. They even give it to you. Dad or mom, oh, can you take this? Every month, they give it to you. And when they move out, they will know the value of money, because if you don't take anything from
Are we
them,
still talking about your parents here?
Yes, he's talking about parents.
I
would explain.
That's an interesting angle, Larry Waju, and I think it's a good angle to bring in.
It's not
So he's
how
saying
you're
that...
training your children to know to do this.
I'm maybe
So
confused.
he says, okay.
Larry, are you there?
Yeah.
I wanted to get clarity. What I thought I heard was that your parents living in your house and they are working. Is that what you said?
No, the children.
Oh, children. Okay. Okay, got you. Okay, I think I get it.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. So he's saying when children live in the house. What I thought he was saying, which I thought was an interesting angle, was that when you bring your parents in from abroad, and because you're a citizen, you apply for them and they become citizens, and they're working and they're living in your house, they're eating in your house, that they should also contribute something to the house. It also happens though.
No, that he's not talking about.
That's what he said, but it's different. But
once your children live under you and they get to a certain age, from 18 you're supposed to be able to earn.
Yeah.
So as a child you're earning, or you're of a certain age, your parents should demand, even if it's a tiny percentage, that you contribute to the runnings of the home, because now you should be able to go and rent house, but you are not. You're living in the house. You should be responsible. You see, this thing that Larry touched on is why some people, when they visit a relative, they're there. They'll cross leg on the chair. You're not paying rent, you're not paying bills, you're not paying anything. You're waiting for them to bring food for you. When you eat, you dump your plate, you don't clean it. Bad upbringing. Terrible upbringing.
Okay, so I get that. I want to flip it. I'm not saying what Larry said, I'm flipping it. So YK is my mom, right? I'm an American citizen. I filed for my mom to come to America. Now she's healthy, she looks good, she's looking pretty. Yeah, mommy, time to work. You can do small job, small job. Give you a job, or even there's a nanny work. You're doing nanny, I'll pay you from nanny. Okay, so you're earning $200, $300 a month, taking care of your grandchildren and paying. Now, because I'm paying you $300 a month, I expect that in the least, I buy bread now. At least buy milk in the house.
Your mom?
Because she's staying in our house. So mommy will... I'm telling you,
let her make a point. Okay.
My age, you're doing that.
Let's listen.
You're doing that. Because that's the response people
my
like.
people will say, Anna is so wait. May I not demand?
Understand the picture.
No matter what
yes,
your mother is in the house, eating your food, drinking your meal, using your electricity, watching TV, collecting $300 a month at the end of the month after babysitting her grandchildren. Now, milk finishes, water finishes. Grandma cannot use that small $300 that she has to even walk down the street and buy water, milk for the refrigerator. She's saving it because when you get to Nigeria, she wants to convert it to Naira.
You don't even have to go all the way far to America.
So the point is that that's now, imagine Nigeria, so the same thing. You're earning small money, your grandma, your mom is in the house, you set up a store for her, a small shop, and she's there every day, she's making money. Small rice finished in the house, grandma cannot buy because, hey, my son should be born to buy. So that's on that flip side. I like us to think about that while I take this call. Olabi, are you there?
Hello, good morning, Mariah.
You're live.
Cinema, Miriam and Auntie Annie. What I really want to contribute today is
volume.
Everything in life.
Can't hear you. Could you increase the volume, please?
To your children.
Thank you.
They are all seeing all the little sacrifice you are paying, either with money, school fees, and that. When they grow, you don't need to tell them. For me, as an example, when working, this and that, I still stay with my parents. Even though I have an objector from the work, and I said, I will move out of this house when my parents are okay. Because then I said, my father said, these are the Jeep that is driving me now. The friends are buying Jeep, this and that. I surprised my dad with first Jeep ever in the life. Even the Jeep is not what I'm using. But one thing, I see the sacrifice like, really, I said, look, I want more people meaning. And you're seeing the sacrifice in and out from the mom and from the parents. You don't need to tell them. So it's not left for the children either to fall. We can't all be the same. I have 7 siblings. We can't be the same.
Right.
But me personally, even my house is not far from them. And Mariah, you still owe me the number. I'm the one that called regarding the house that said I didn't have to pay Mr. that Mr. Sunday asked me to call back and get the number. It's still this same father's house. My house is not far from the house. If I'm going out, I branch them. FRS and that's going. Coming back, I branch them. So the act of giving is inside you, not outside. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Olabi. So so you see, thank you for his own perspective. But you see the view I'm putting on now. So we'll move to the debate now. Mommy, so what do you think about?
No, let me because Nima is like the opposite. Let her express that.
But you get the gist.
Clearly, I understand it. So enjoy their generosity, but don't ask them. So a parent who is aging and thinking, what do I need all this money for? I have $300, I beg. You call the grandchild, go buy all the things we need in the house. It's their generosity. Enjoy it. And mommy, thank you. And thank them for it. But mommy, were you at home when my child was crying? There's no milk. And with all the money you have, you did not. Don't expect it. And don't even, it's worse to demand it. From my own training as a Muslim, worse to demand it. You must, when you were helpless, that's the way the Quran puts it, she could have trampled on you with one foot and you will be out of breath. She nurtured you. She cared for you. You were weak till you got to adult age and you were able to earn. You then flip it when you should pay back and expect the person to still care for you because they're earning. Whatever they gather at the end of the day, we'll be doing probate and wills later. And it's still your own at the end of the day. So why do you want to fast forward these things? Let them enjoy at a particular point. I remember when 4 of us left school, university, and my dad was like, I've always loved to travel. I'm a globetrotter, I love traveling. And he started putting his money together for visa to tour Asia. We left him. He started traveling.
Okay, let me throw in a spanner there, because to add before you respond, let me throw in a spanner. So, for example, this grandma, for example, now calls Nigeria a lot. So, like my brother used to do for me when I was 16. When I started earning, called me and said, Auntie, now you're earning money. You'll be using yellow highlighter, marking all the Nigeria calls. You're the one that always calling mommy in the house. Add it together, this is your bill at the end of the month. So grandma, who has just earned $300, is always calling him, yeah, can you come? Always calling mommy, phone calls, yeah. So this is it. This is your bill. Yeah, because you're earning money. Is it wrong for you to demand that $100 phone bill, you're paying $50 out of it because you're the one that's always calling Nigeria? These are little things that people might demand of their parents who live with them. Is it right or is it wrong?
So I cannot speak specifically to that culture, the Western culture, but a lot of the things that they do, it's weird to us. But when we listen and understand the context, we can understand why, especially when it comes to paying of bills. When you're asking children to pay some bills, you're asking parents to pay some bills. And we understand maybe it's the way the economy is there, so they ask of their parents or whoever lives with them. But I also understand that a giving parent will give birth to a giving child. A parent that acknowledges good, that appreciates, will give birth to a child that does the same. You know, that is the culture in the home. That is something that they practice in their home. So my mom comes to stay sometimes, and she will stay for quite a while, and she will get something in the house that we obviously can afford, but maybe in just a short time. And sometimes I would see that she's struggling to see how, in what way can I just buy something and put something. Every day I'm just eating and eating in this house. Me too, let me put something. It's not because she thinks we cannot afford it. It's not because she thinks that somebody is going to be talking about her behind her back and say, do you know she has been eating our food? She ate all the meat. She not put. No, it's because she's a woman that appreciates and acknowledges the good, you know, and she wants to show that. And I understand where it's coming from. As the same way where we'll send money to make hair. She knows it's not about money making hair. It's just to show appreciation. It's not a bad thing, but also it can be a bad thing if you have a parent staying with you, for example, and you were out of town, and the child is sick, and all she had to do was remove money to buy medicine. And she put her money on the side because she really wanted to make a call to someone or dash somebody money. That's not, as far as I'm concerned, I will call that mother out. You have this amount of money, you should have used that It's not to say I'm demanding that she must do something for me, but you expect that the person...
Take responsibility.
Yes.
Let me take this call from Ndlea from Lokoja. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning, ma'am.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
A first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning, ma'am. I appreciate your program.
Thank you.
This topic that you bring this morning is a very interesting one. And the issue is that my problem is this. This issue of Japa now, that everybody is trying to go out of the country. We are not very close to our parents again. How do you be able to even appreciate them now? The situation of the country is causing us a lot of problems. It is good and it's very necessary for a child to appreciate the parents. No matter how small it is or how big, there's nothing you give to your parents that is too big or too much or too small. One of the things that make our parents to have long life is moving very close to them. Let us have time for them. The amount of money you are giving to your parents doesn't even speak well. But the care that you give to your parents is one of the best things that I think the child can give to our parents. And without even them saying anything, the blessing is coming to you. Bible supports it. Quran supports it that we should take care of our parents. So no amount of things you do for your parents that is too much. But the problem of this country now is that when people are not even very close to their parents, some of them even forget that they even have parents. It's not that they don't want to do it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bamidele.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Because you are all talking as children.
Yeah.
I'm not talking as a parent because I go to my daughters a lot.
Yes.
And I don't think she has never asked me to pay for anything in the house. But I remember the last time we went, because I just come, they went to buy food in the house. I went with them. I paid. They didn't ask me to pay. I paid. And they were grateful that I paid. But they didn't ask me.
Great.
If it came to where they will be saying, Mommy, you ate this, you ate that, pay for it, I won't go there again. I will not step in that house again. Not because I will just feel unwanted.
Appreciate it.
Unappreciated, unwanted. Because when I go there, I look after the kids, I bath the kids, I do everything. I don't want them to pay me. I'm not asking them for money. But I need, if they show me that appreciation, it will make me happy. I mean, some days they will, let's go and eat out.
YK, let me interrogate that a bit more. Imagine you move over now and you're now living in the UK. And then you said, okay, I'll be babysitting for you, right? And then they say, okay, even though you're babysitting, we're going to be earning £500 every month, for example. YK, please, when it comes to the trash, you're the one in charge of taking out the trash. We are living. We're using the same house.
Well,
now. Are we not?
On this table.
We're using the same house now. Mommy, your job is to take out the trash or make sure that you call the whatever to pick up. You know, they will give you your own responsibilities. Is that right or is that wrong? Because many of us, when we move there, we forget that we're moving to a new culture, a new community, and we forget that this is not Nigeria where you just call one lady to come and do this thing. But now everybody's taking responsibility.
I think Mommy would do what she wants to do without you asking. Is that asking or is that demand?
Thank you.
That will not make it
So Mommy should know what to do.
Palatable.
Because people struggle. Your own children are doing well, but they're asking
So you are hoping that your mommy would understand the dynamics of this house.
Exactly.
The economics of this house. She's watching her children. She's looking at how they are putting coins together to pay for this, and she decides in her mind without being told, which, you know, especially as an African mother, I'm sure it would be better without being told, I'm going to handle this quietly, or I'm going to be handling this, or you just say it. And you know that it's sorting issues out. They didn't ask for it, but you have figured it out yourself. And yet there are some mothers that we see all the things that are happening, how hard things are, and even incur more debt on their head. So that sort of thing, when it happens, YK, do you think it's okay for the child to say, Mommy, see, things are really quite tough for us. These calls that you make, it costs us so much. Would you be willing to do this to pay for it? Would that hurt
So I wanted
you?
to respond to
that
Miriam.
hurts you.
Where you would...
That hurts you. Why do you think of that response? Let me take Haji. I've been holding for a while. Haji, are you there?
Yes,
You're
I'm
live.
here.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mariah is still talking. Okay.
No, you talk to me on television, not
Morning.
on TV.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
The topic is interesting. I'm a grandmother, a pensioner,
Okay.
and I enjoy. Yes, I enjoy my children giving me allowances because I love. In as much as I receive pension, I enjoy receiving alerts. I just love that sound.
I like
of
that.
alert from them.
Yes.
And at times I drive out. When there is fuel, I fuel my car, and I'll put fuel in the generator, in the jerry can back home. I am not expecting my daughter to pay me back because I know at the end of the month what is coming in as an allowance.
Yeah.
Wow.
There are times the soup finishes and I'll make soup before she comes back home. I am not expecting her to pay me back because I know weekends when she takes us out, I know how she will give me a good treat. So for Daddy Free
Hajia.
to have said such a
Hajia.
thing,
Hajia.
I don't think
Hajia,
it's
can you hear
right.
me?
Because like Auntie Yenny rightly said, the moment you start asking me to pay for this, yes, Morayo, I can hear you.
I'm trying to interrogate what you're saying further because there's a situation where maybe your children are having financial difficulty and they're unable to meet up with that monthly allowance, that allowance that you love listening, you're getting every month. Maybe they're unable to meet that obligation anymore. Would you still, with the little you have, continue to do that which you're doing in the house? Listen to the TV.
Okay.
I think she's no more there.
She's there. She's listening to the TV.
So it's
We have to wrap up that. We have to move on. Let's
Wife was trying to respond to.
Honestly, I will do it, Morayo.
right, thank you very much.
I have a son that receives lesser than what others are receiving. I go.
All right, let's go on a break. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we started this conversation initially just by saying, would you give your wealthy parents money? And then it has morphed into other angles, which is even if your parents are staying with you and things are doing well, like Mariam used an example where you're doing well and your parents are helping out. But in a situation whereby you are actually struggling, things are not going as well. Maybe your husband isn't working. You're the one putting all the bills, but mommy thinks, oh, it's her son that's doing everything, and you're just keeping everything hush-hush, and you guys are managing everything in the house. And she's there just largesting, oh, my son's house, my TV, you know, doing the whole jiggy-jiggy. And you are the wife that you are doing everything. But mommy doesn't know that you're doing everything.
That kind of mother, Morayo, that kind of mother is not in touch with feelings and
Observant.
and
No,
dynamics.
you know, it's not fair to say that. Let me tell you why. Because she has raised her son and she believes nobody's saying her the truth. Nobody's giving her full disclosure that things are tough. They make it look as if everything is perfect. You have a beautiful husband. Nobody knows you are struggling. Mommy thinks everything is going well.
Let me
So
tell you,
nobody's being real with her. So she
will know.
She will know.
She will know.
She will just
Not
trust
a
it.
child.
She will choose not to.
She's not a child.
Now, so for some parents like that, they are still parenting their child. She probably knows the kind of child that she has, that the moment you come in now to understand, you just spoil on your hands. So you push the child till that child understands, you go, you persevere, you continue striving. For some mothers, you need to have the conversation. It's like going to your parents when you are broke, so solicit for help. I had such an experience before. I never used to think it was okay asking my parents for help. And that I just said to my mom, help me tell my father that he should send message to me. He got the message. I got cash. Straight, God rest his soul. Because I was broke to teeth. I could not call any friend. And I'm someone who likes to cover my pain. I just said, Mommy, is my daddy there? Tell him I said, because I didn't have the courage to say it to him directly. Tell him to send a message to me. Finish. He got the message.
Because Miriam was asking me something before, that is it okay to ask?
Yes.
Of course.
That kind of...
When things are tough, right?
Yeah. That kind of parent, if she has not noticed that things, he or she hasn't noticed that things are tough, that kind of parent, you don't have to ask. You just say,
solicit.
Well, things are so difficult for us. Right?
Exactly, you lay it bare.
Hey, there's no money anywhere. If that person doesn't... then that person is a...
I know.
Who was telling us here that there's a certain parts of this country, I'm not sure, there's a certain culture where they say it as it is. The mother would tell you that, listen, I don't care, my son's house, my house, I can do what I want. They don't want to hear under those stories. Their own is that they have responsibilities. Listen, I have raised my child. When you're not there, when I was doing everything to make this boy successful. Now he is successful. He has a house, and I'm here now. I don't want to stay there anymore. I want to live in this air-conditioned house. This is where I want to be. So everything in the house, I am going to benefit from this house. Now, Mommy doesn't know that Daddy is still trying to get his business on his feet. Wife is the one that is doing all the bills. She doesn't know that. She doesn't know that information. Both couples will not tell Mommy that. Mommy just sees the beautiful house, beautiful everything, house help and everything, and she's having fun. But calling your mommy that this thing, you cannot continue to enjoy these things, because listen, we're actually hustling and struggling. Mommy doesn't want to hear that.
The question you ask Mommy is, I did all this for you. Did you do it for me to look after you when I was...
When you're old.
Did you send me to school because of yourself? Was I your insurance? That's the question you ask Mommy, because when I paid for my daughter to go to university and everything, I didn't pay
for her to come back to help you.
And look after me. That never crossed my mind. My own was, I want to set my child up to be able to... Put
yourself in the shoes of a woman who has struggled to raise her child.
I wanted to answer YK.
Put yourself in this...
For some parents, the children are their insurance.
Yes.
So if you put all your efforts, you carry up food in every express road that you know, you made sure your child attended the best of schools. Your dream was that child would do well, be so successful that you would never lack again. Yeah. And the child now does well, you say it's not your insurance. I don't know these people are reading all these articles from, but as far as I'm concerned, that child will have bad luck if he doesn't pay back. Because maybe that parent suffered girl-child abuse in those days when they didn't educate her. But she knew the value of education. She made sure you got the education. She would do anything for her child. And then the child is asking her, who sent you message?
That parent that did everything for her child and she lacked because of her child will now, when the child has now moved into his own house, come and say, oh, I demand to stay in this house. Oh, I demand this. You don't demand now. Your child will know to do it now.
Doesn't have to demand.
You know, this reminds me of the conversation.
That's what Mariah is asking. Mariah is saying, I suffered for this child.
So I demand.
So now I must stay inside this air
But the culture is not bad. There are bad people, but the culture is not bad. The woman can become a problem. No, I'm just trying to put it in perspective. The woman can be a problematic person who thinks that, oh, now that he now married his wife, you know, where the woman is sitting down, she's watching, insecure. Then you bring the Venza and say, no, because my wife, she needs the exposure. You package your wife, and the woman is checking. You will now be asking her, where are you going safe? Do you need a car? Or some people who the wives will say, if you want to buy your mother a car, you must buy my own first. Yeah. So those are realities. The reality is that you must encourage your husband. So first of all, pay forward what made him a marriageable husband for you, material for you in the first place.
I don't disagree with you.
Yes.
So and all those that mother will not then have to become vengeful and say, I demand. Oh yeah, go and that your mother carry her out of this house. You know, don't set up that kind of situation.
Okay, let me take this call from Abubakar. I'll come to you, Mariam. Good morning, Abubakar. Are you there? Hello, Abubakar. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Mrs. Abubakar, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm a grandma.
Yes.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I've tried this line severally. I'm happy that I'm
so glad to have you.
Yes, I'm happy to get through to you. In the past, I've wanted to contribute to some topics, very, very good topics that I have a personal experience, but I've not been able to do that. But I'm happy I'm able to go through this morning. I'm a grandma, and all my children were in Nigeria before. With all this Japa syndrome, 3 of them have gone.
Yeah.
They give me monthly stipend, but one of them in Canada now said, Mommy, there's a lot of bills to pay. You give me plenty time to settle down here, because myself and my husband use all our money to relocate to this place. Honestly, Morayo, I am very happy. But the problem I have that I may digest that the 2 of them are up there and I have just 4 of them. One is alone in Nigeria. I think if anything happens to me, just like some of your colleagues have said there, that it's not the money that they give me. I want their presence around me. I want to see my grandchildren. I have about 10 grandchildren now. Wow. What I do is video calling. I do video calling. I want to be. Do I go on vacation? In fact, when I go, I spend 6 months. But I'm running away from cold now. Sure, you understand? Yes. So, it's not the money you people give us, because my children are like Mariah's age. So, if they call me, it's when they call me, I'm very excited. If I see their call, I'm doing anything, I will drop it. And go say, I will start praising them. I will start praising them. It's not the money that they give
Thank
us.
you, Mrs. Abubakar.
I'm not feeling entitled. Sure, you understand?
Yeah.
I'm not feeling
entitled.
Thank you so much. I mean, she even reminded me of Mama Brown. So Mama Brown, she's with us, and she's my brother, my husband's sister also has a house. So that's where they moved in. So they're just next door to us, and they didn't do Wi-Fi for her. I just felt that you have your phone, but what she needs most is Wi-Fi, because she wants to be calling her grandchildren every single day. They always having they want the data here. She uses it for something else. So I can understand where Mrs. Abubakar is coming from. That is that connection they are constantly saying. But that brings us to another part of this. And this topic has been is wider. We're widening it now, because all the Japa people that have left, your friends will be the one to support. Go, just leave this, leave, they'll sell everything for you to go. You now go finish. And I'm like, hey, I won't see my children. You'll be hearing that clinical gave birth, that one gave birth. You can't, Mrs. Abubakar can't travel. Some people can't travel. So that disconnection is also there. It also kills a lot of grandmas. So today is a grandma day show. It kills a lot of grandma and even grandfathers, because they want to see their children, but they're unable to. That's another part of this conversation that was not here.
Those children are irresponsible now.
How, Waiki?
Then you like it.
How?
I suffered and struggled for you to Japa. Now Japa, when you
it's not money they want to. No money they want. They want you to come home. But you can't come home now because you're still settling down. You're still trying to get things together.
Come home, but you can call me.
Yeah. It's not the call they want. They want your presence.
But that they paid for you to Japa, they know they're not going to get your presence now.
Okay.
Exactly.
They know that you have to settle first. Is when you settle and then you don't look back. Yes. That is an ungrateful child.
Yeah. And that is where this culture of you are my insurance policy. I'm a mother. There are many things I'm doing for my children. God knows deep in my heart, it has nothing to do with what they will do for me in return.
In future.
My happiness is that these children would thrive and they'll be happy and they'll be content and they'll have no reason. I'm coming. And they'll have no reason, to be sad about their life. My mom struggled. And in her struggle, she did the best that, she could. And sometimes I think about, and I now that I'm a mother, I now see that it was not about the fact that she wanted us to one day come and save her. It was because she wanted to make sure that this struggling she's struggling with her life, her children will not have to struggle. So yes, parents there are some sacrifices they will make. I may not see my child, but how is Canada? Are you eating? Are you well? Do you have friends? Do you have a job? Are you putting money? Do you have money in your pocket? That would be joy to many parents, knowing that I've even given you an opportunity to go and thrive somewhere. For me, I feel that that's a parent.
If you're unable to accommodate her in Lagos, for example, let me give an example. So mom came now for a few months. But if you had said, Mom, sorry, you can't come on because we're still struggling right now, I can't have you in the house. You should have liked that.
No, she would not have liked that. She would not like, that's what initially when we're talking about showing appreciation. When you can, you will. And the parent already knows that. If the parent is that way, she has raised a child like that now. In this family, when we can, we show appreciation. That child that is far away would call, when they can, would send letters when they can, would even send a small gift to a friend that is finally coming to Nigeria when they can, but cannot travel, cannot afford to travel back. Your parent, a good parent will not hold that against that child, knowing that the child is trying to settle down.
Okay, the first day my child gave me money, the first day my child gave me money that I did not expect, I was so shocked. Because what I did for my child is not for her to repay me.
Yeah. Yeah, but you raised a good child.
Yes.
She could have said, my mom is YK now. Shrine long. She doesn't need anything.
But why would she not raise any other child like the child that she has raised?
Do you understand?
Being
and she would say, really, she doesn't need it. And then she would never think of you when she's bringing in whatever plans or any she's making. Some kids live in the same house with their parents, and they won't even see them in 24 hours, and they will not be bothered. Yeah. I want to explain something clearly to Miriam. So I have parents who gave me the best of life, but they don't expect it forward. In fact, they will tire you with their contentment. Now you go, they regret, they shame. But I know that people demonize this pay back to parenting. In this, our newfound Oyibo mentality of, why am I your insurance scheme? In the olden days, parents looked forward. I remember my mom saying, may my children never suffer what I suffered. My mom had a temporary blindness issue when she was a child, and so she couldn't complete education. One of the things that pained her the most was that because she was a girl, they didn't go further for her to see. And the thing later resolved itself. And that, she wasn't as educated as she would want. She had 4 girls. My mom was the one that took me to primary school to ensure that everything I needed, I got. Now, fast forward, I would say, no, because she doesn't expect it as an insurance, I would demonize that culture of giving back to parents. It includes carrying your parents when they are weak. It includes bathing your parents as if you bet them. It includes covering them up when incontinence and all of those illnesses come forward. That's what it includes. You are their insurance in their old age, in your strength. It's not about money. And when money comes in, do not demonize it. You see, when our attention starts to divide, we marry, we grow, our work, our demands, and all of that comes in. It's easy to rationalize things and say, if you are
so
abroad,
I need to respond to this.
If you are abroad and you can't come home, but you make the plans. I see families where I live, every December, the house is full, tight seats. Shebi Moraya gave an example. Everybody's around her. She gets the opportunity to see her kids but they see you making that effort. That's the insurance.
Okay.
I have to go take this call from Peter, and I'll come to you, Mariam. Peter from Abuja has been holding for a while. Good morning, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Morning.
Yes.
Morning.
I just want to contribute a little to this program, the topic of conscience today.
Go ahead.
Yes. Giving is spiritual. And when you give, like the good book says, it's added on to you. So taking care of your children when you have, your parents when you have, is very germane. And the ripple effect is there. When you have the heart of giving, you will give no matter what it takes, whether your parents are rich or they are poor. Giving is spiritual, like I say. So it is very, very pertinent that children take care of their parents and give irrespective of whatever circumstances they find themselves.
Okay, thank you, Peter.
Yes, so what Nima is explaining is the fact that when I say that you should not make your children your insurance policy, she gives, the scenario she gives for me is the worst case scenario. When you say when I say that you should not make them your insurance policy, I'm not saying that you should not be kind towards your parents. You should not give when you can towards your parents. Because if we're to say that that's what I'm saying, that's what it means, then we're also saying, then what are we saying to those parents that say, because of this culture that you're talking about, my children and my insurance, have gone as far as saying to their children, your friend that is doing Yahoo, does he have 2 heads? Because in every situation, there's someone or there are a group of people that will bastardize the true intention of what it's meant to be. So when you say that my child is my insurance policy, they push you. I remember when we caught that, the police caught that OB boy that was a big Yahoo boy. No, not even Hush Puppy. There was one other one. And that was on Forbes 30 under 30. Yeah. there were so many conversations of children saying, my parents have told me to my face, then what are you doing? If this person can do it, oh, it's Yahoo, so what? You must provide. Oh, everybody has come home for Christmas. This one has come home with a car. This one has come home with a house. You have brought nothing. And they don't care how you get it.
Yeah.
You must pay me back in such a way that I can flaunt it for other people. So when we're having this conversation, there are worst-case scenario. We know that. But we're hopefully talking to normal human beings that understand the principle of appreciating and reappreciating. The way your parents do not take you as an insurance policy and do not feel entitled to you is also the way that you don't feel that they're a burden on you. You already, if you're, for me, I just don't understand. If you're raised by someone who is already that way, how would you now go ahead and think, I don't need to call them, I don't need to send them money, I don't need to be of help? It cannot occur to you. Now, I know of real-life examples. I cannot call names because it's not my story to tell, of people who do not have good relationships with their family. People on the outside will be wondering, what's such an ungrateful child? But I've heard stories. Children that it was adulthood that finally gave them that freedom to leave that toxic space and become themselves. Leaving further from their families, separating themselves from their families has given them life. When you're in that space, but you're on the outside, you don't know the story. You don't know the journey that it took for that child that is standing on the outside and not paying attention. That child that is able to even close that door, it means that child would leave instead of being there. So there are different situations, but on a normal, whatever, I still do not believe that you should live your life in such a way that you're saying, this child, you must pay me back.
So it goes back to what Waike said earlier. It depends on individuals. So let me take this call from Shola from Makwafu. Good morning, Shola. Are you there?
Hi, good morning.
You're live. Join the conversation.
Thank you. Honestly, this conversation, I don't even think it should be dragged for too long, because I believe if a child is kind and know that the parents have done the work for them from childbirth up to school, till you get a job. Even some parents don't even disturb when you just get a job, even when you settle down. I think every month, a child that is kind, that can think, should be able to give their parents, even if it's small. Most of African parents, they don't even need so much. They are comfortable. The majority of them are comfortable. Just hello, how are you? Even if as much as 5,000 naira sent to them. That's what I did for my father. I don't really have much, but I know that every month I send him something. Today is even his birthday. I already saved some money. I sent him the one I can, and he already called me and he prayed for me. That alone is enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So, but going back to this insurance thing, but I think we're all saying the same thing in different ways. So, for example, many of you know that I live with my mother-in-law and my grandmother-in-law live with me. And when you hear stories of what Momo has done, because grandma is our only child. She had a lot of children, they all died. So, and to keep that child, there was so much struggle just raising that child. According to her, she would sell stick, the firewood. All the way from Ikere, she walk to Ado, which is a distance. It's like walking from, town to town. She walked there in the morning to go and sell, come back home, It was a real struggle to raise this one child. And this is all she's got. So grandma has been carrying her along wherever in her marriage. Now her husband has died, she's in our house. She has carried her along. Because I told you the story that initially, when grandma was brought to Lagos, first few months, she was just looking, she was happy initially, but she was just then sad. What making this woman sad? She was sad because she left her grandma's, her mother. I knew that the only way this woman can be happy if I allow that woman to come and join her. So it's the same insurance of that mom. She's Momo's insurance because Momo would have been left alone. That's the only person she has. Momo would have been left alone in the career. But she came along with us.
So maybe
it's not the demand.
Yeah.
She didn't demand to be her insurance. I will give you an example.
Maybe it's the word insurance that is used.
My mom, when she got married, moved to Nigeria. Her mom had trained her in England. That's my own grandmother. My grandmother, she had to put her children in a home because she had 3 major kidney operations. And they were there from maybe about 12 because she left Nigeria because she had kidney problems. She left Nigeria because her husband was Nigerian. Anyway, fast forward, my mother meets my father, moved to Nigeria. My father paid for my grandmother to come to
Nigeria.
With her daughter. Her daughter, then, because my mother's family here was a bit well-to-do, they sent my auntie back to go and study in England. But initially, they moved there. When she finished studying, she moved back to our house. So, for me, it was always mommy and nanny. My grandmother was nanny. Mommy and nanny, mommy and nanny.
They're always together.
They were...
5 and 6.
Inseparable. Inseparable. Till my mom died. When my mom died, it was... We all thought my mother would not survive. My grandmother would not survive. But her other daughter now came to Nigeria and carried her and moved her to England.
So, so we're all saying the same thing in different ways. So maybe
that word insurance
what I'm saying is, it was not demanded. It was just natural.
It was the right thing to do.
It's just natural.
It was the right thing to do. Thank you.
Just happened.
People say now, how do you say it in Yoruba? Okay. That kind of thing. That may we live well, healthy, to be able to eat from our children. That kind of thing. So maybe you think, no, you're not my life insurance, not necessarily responding to you, Miriam, just to this, because I've heard this thing too many times, and it pains me. You know, trying to make the mother's expectation on her child look terrible. Demonize it.
Trivialize it, yeah.
People have come, some motivational speakers have climbed pulpits in grand, full venues and demonized this thing and called it freedom. Economic, financial freedom, they call it all sorts of things. That your mom, who's that one human being, or your parents, if he's a father, that one human being or two of them, they are both alive, that she expects something of you. That no, because you want to break through in life, you have to cut off them, let them understand that you want to break through and their demands will not let you fly. As you're planning your life, can you be planning that you never lack what to give them?
If you do, remember that whatever you do,
you
will reap. Yeah.
Do you understand? If you abandon your parents, your own children will abandon you.
Simple.
It's as simple as that. The law of karma, I believe in it 100%.
Say fast from go to those people that said all those
honor
things.
your father and your mother so you may live long on this earth. It's just normal.
I wasn't even there.
So I mean, I think really, I like to believe that everybody, if you're the right person, you do the right thing. No matter what situation you're in. Don't forget your past. Don't forget your parents.
Exactly.
No matter how rich your parents are, we've agreed that we should do something. It doesn't have to be monetary. Anything, remember to take them out sometimes. Remember to spend time with them.
Find a way to be present in their lives.
Find a way to be present. Every Sunday for me was a ritual to always go. How many minutes, Bagada? Just for me, expecting us. If you don't see her, it's because, oh, there's house police or something. Something always happens. You know, so let there be something that she knows that you're always there. As long as you're fine, just like you said, it's not the money you give to me. I know that you're fine, but at least you know that I am your mother. These are little things parents want to. It's not your money they're always looking for. Let's take a comment on social media.
Mohammed, this is what scares me about Japa for parents. Parents crave attention, love, and presence when they grow older. Andrew in Streatham, always like Miriam's take, always speaks with wisdom.
Oh, thank you.
Cole GJ Funky Flex. Don't know what he was thinking. He made. They are talking about
freeze.
Daddy Freeze.
Okay.
When he made that,
I don't know what he made thank you, my son or daughter. Don't you know when you gift your rich parents, they gift you back double. If parents doesn't reciprocate, doesn't mean others don't. Francis Ndlea says there's ultimate parental blessings attached to giving to your parents, whether they are very rich parents or poor parents. It's a natural bloodline appreciation and kindness from you to them as your parents.
Yeah.
This goes beyond insurance mentality. Dolani Roberts says, normalize calling your parents at least every week to know how they are doing. If you abandon them in their old age, you should be ashamed of yourself forever. Take good care of your parents.
You know, go ahead. I have Maya from Idumu. I'll come to you, take Zainab. Okay. Aya from Idumu, please go ahead. Aya from Idumu, are you there?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning, you're live. Yes.
Yes, thanks for the topic. It's very enlightening. Yes, I remember that I have two children. One is my daughter is a doctor, my son is an economist. Okay, my wife is 3 years into my marriage. My husband had a very bad stroke. So I was the one that took care of my children from, primary to, up to the university level. But I could remember, I didn't think they would pay me back, but mine was to train my children to make them successful in life. But I remember during COVID time, even while I was building my house, at the time the money finished, my daughter was married then, but I didn't ask them for money because I knew they were just, I didn't even think they're supposed to give me money. It didn't cross my mind. So I struggled to build my house. But, they were there for me. I'm only, how do you do it? We'll go and let you check the place. But I remember during COVID time, my daughter just called me. That was the time they were saying, everybody should equip the house, you should buy food, no going out. My daughter just called me, I'm wondering, how are you? I said, I'm fine. He said, have you been able to buy food? I said, I'm waiting for my pension. Oh my goodness. Mommy, I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm sorry. And she sent me just 10,000 naira, which was a huge money then to me, because I didn't have anything to buy food in the house. But to the glory of God, up to today, she has, increased the money. At least she give me 50,000 every month, which is basic. My son does too. Everybody does. I didn't ask them. I didn't even look at that side. I was thinking they're still making their own life. So it's not for a parent to demand.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, you will sow.
Exactly.
I would like to sing a song. My grandma, when I was young, she would sing, Bodale Mayo, Bodale Mayo, mi ò jẹ́ torí tèmi, sọmọ mi ni, Bodale Mayo.
Oh, that's apt. When it's in the evening, I will still be full. I think because of something.
It's not because of hunger, but because of my child.
Imagine that. That's a beautiful thing.
Solomon relaxing music. Nima, please, is it necessary to give your wealthy parents? This is the question you ladies have missed out in your out of your discussion.
Discuss it from the beginning.
It's musical
Within from the very
means the answer.
Yes, it did not
Very
start.
necessary.
You're welcome. So, like more like Daddy Freeze, like let me the Daddy Freeze, your mother is a professor. It's fine. You don't need to give her cash. But the time you take your children to go see grandma, that in itself is you can't even quantify.
No, he himself is rich. His mom is rich. Build an edifice in the university and name it after her. Take her while she's alive to cut the ribbon.
I'm sure he appreciates another way.
If he gives his
Carry her alive, not dead. Build
more than money.
An honorarium edifice
take your
for
children
her.
to the...
Carry her to cut the ribbon and see whether she will not appreciate it, even in her wealth.
I remember Chuck's mom, my husband's mom, before she passed, she used to love it if you spend time with her to play cards. She didn't, towards the end of her life, she wasn't really going out as much. So all she wanted, anytime, sometimes we used to sneak past her because if she handles you like this, you sit down with her, you play cards, you play crossword, you play Sudoku before. That's all she wanted. She didn't need anything. She would be the one calling everyone.
Papa Brown, before he died, Papa Brown can lecture. If he catches you like this, just know you're there 3 hours hearing stories of how Professor, can you come on, Professor? You will sit down, be hearing lectures. This man, please, I want to. You can't even go and pee. You keep holding like because Papa Brown will not let you go.
At that age, what they really want is your time.
Many of these
they want attention. I remember my auntie, before she passed me, her soul rest in peace. We took upon ourselves to send a car to pick her, bring her to Lagos, take her to her grandchildren, because her daughter had died, and we used to send money to her. Do you know how she appreciated that money? It was so touching, and the way she used to pray for my brother and I.
The heart.
Yeah.
That's the prayer
Igwe Buike says, parents have the right to demand from children. After all, they put up their lives for us to survive. They borrowed and toiled for us. You can borrow to send money to your parents. Africa is not Europe.
Miriam, please, let me build on this thing you said. I have seen parents...
They can't demand. That word demand.
Miriam, that's his opinion.
I have seen parents with teenage children, as in 12, 13, who will say, well, I cannot come and kill myself. Now, this, make I first chop first. Now, the one I chop, I go take carry, and they would not prioritize their children. The child, you will see the child struggling, say, okay, I think I'll break through with football, but the moment the child breaks through, you see that parent too. Such parents, you will now compare them to your own that, once you say, they say I should buy something in school, they will just give up their luxury. They'll give up their necessities. They'll give up everything for you. fast forward, do you?
So it depends on the child. If you raise a good child, the child will do the
Exactly.
needful.
If you raise a child,
When somebody is giving motivational speech
important
and his
question,
experience, and his experience is that of the parent who didn't know it was priority in their lives, and is advising people generally to say it is a fraud for your
motivational
parents to
speaker,
defend
Shifu,
you.
what they-
No, I don't know how they reach their conclusion. Me, I'm not motivated. I did not go coaching anywhere.
But
I'm
you know
saying,
there's a school of
but
thought.
your parents, you saw their sacrifices,
yeah.
and you grew up and you fall into that category. It's like something is losing inside you.
Engine don't knock. Omoti says, what about the parents who abandon their children? And they are directing the question at me. I don't know why. Okay, so let's answer that question.
Yeah.
He's asking. This is Omoti asking, what about the parents who abandon their children? Okay, I have a child and I abandon her and go away. Leave her for everybody. What?
Yes.
Must I still provide for that child? For
No, was that
the
child provide for
parent.
you?
for that
Yes,
parent?
that's what
that
they're
parent.
asking.
Yes, that's what they're asking.
That's an interesting
That's
question.
a very interesting question.
Do we have time?
Let me get
If
to
we
one.
have time, let me give you an example. So for me, I feel that a child learns from their parents. So if you're raised by a parent who did not teach you the principles of even loving and being kind and taking care of you, when a child that's abandoned is likely not to feel any reason to show appreciation, acknowledge that parent. There's a Hollywood star that once gave a story of how when she was growing up, her mother used to almost pimp her to Hollywood directors. When she grew up and she married her husband, she had money, she abandoned her mother.
Stay away from the toxicity.
And she was happy until she started having issues in her life, right? And her children abandoned her. She was a good mother. But the thing is, she said her children never saw how to take care of a person, of a mother who has been bad towards you. So it took her in that her problems to go back to her mother, repair her relationship, reconcile, and then the children have now learned, okay, if you have a mother that is not all that, but this is what you can do.
Right.
So you have to teach the next generation the principles for them to be able to do it. That's it.
Fantastic way to respond. Let me take the call from Japa from Iju. That's what I will wrap up. Good morning, Japa. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
We can hear you. Go ahead. You're live, please.
Yeah. Thank you for what you are doing. I love your view. I've been with you since 2013.
Thank you.
This thing, there are some mothers that don't take care of their children. I've seen a woman that cannot even support her husband concerning her children for anything. She's not ready to spend even a kobo on her children. Not even 15 years, naira. How much did you say? Bread. She will not. What do you expect those children to do when the children grow up and their mother is rich? But the children are seeing it that it's only their mother that is taking care of them. Just imagine that type of mother. There are mothers and there are mothers.
Thank you so much, Jake. That's an important point. But you see, that woman has learned it from somewhere. So maybe her own parents, her own mother too, abandoned her. So that's what Miriam just said. Somebody must break it because her children will do exactly the same thing to her. So that's where we need anti-emotional, other therapists. Somebody must be able to help that woman understand why is it that you don't like taking care of your children. Something happened that caused it. Because if not, your children will do exactly the same thing to you. And if you're having that dissociation from your loved ones, from helping to take care of, it happened because you either learned it from somewhere. These are all learned behaviors. And these are things that can be broken by professionals. We have to wrap up on this, but I think we've tried to, the objective of this conversation is to remind us of our responsibilities to our loved ones. Yes, it doesn't have to be financial, but especially our parents love more of our physical appearances, our time, and just little things. The fact that they know that you care for them, you love them, is the most important thing a parent. But if you have a parent who needs financial support, it's important that it's not your insurance, you're not the insurance, but it to be an obligation to you to do the right thing. If you're raised right, you should ensure that you raise them. I have to go, but I cannot leave this show if I don't say this. When I tell you that YK is old, people will laugh at me. YK is 63. She's 63. She's going to be 63 in May.
62!
Yeah, she's 62. But do you realize? I'm the one speaking.
I'm let her talk now. What are you afraid of?
Please, let me tell you what YK did. YK's party.
Stop.
YK wearing Ashwebi today. This blue she's wearing. It's for tomorrow's party, oh. She's 63. She don't realize that the party is tomorrow. She thought it was today. She missed the numbers and the dates and the invitation card. And she now dressed up, get. Right now she's going back to her house
can help
to
you
remove
with
the
an
cloths.
Please help me with that.
She's removing the cloths back because it's for tomorrow's party.
There's an answer.
When I tell you YK is old,
put me on live.
people will be saying that YK is not old. YK is an old woman.
Mariah, they say when you dig a hole, dig it small. Because yesterday, 2 of Mariah's children had birthdays. Mariah did not remember.
On this set.